Welcome back to Health Neighborhood. Today we're going to cover how to reverse diabetes. Diabetes is a dangerous disease and one that can be a challenge to manage. It can lead to heart and kidney disease, blindness, and many other health conditions. Until a cure is found, people with this disease have to watch what they eat, measure their blood sugar, and take medication each day. Diabetes by the numbers. Here are some statistics about diabetes which you might already be familiar with. 30 million people in the US have diabetes. That's about 9.5% of the population. 8.5 million of these people haven't been diagnosed. 1.6 million Americans are diagnosed with diabetes every year. 100 million Americans are living with diabetes and prediabetes. It's the 7th leading cause of death in the US. $13,700 per year is the average medical expenditure for people with diabetes. What is prediabetes? Prediabetes is a serious health condition where blood sugar levels are higher than normal but not high enough yet to be diagnosed as type 2 diabetes. Approximately 84 million American adults, more than 1 out of 3, have prediabetes. Of those with prediabetes, 90% don't know they have it. Prediabetes puts you at increased risk of developing type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and stroke. What causes prediabetes? Insulin is a hormone made by our pancreas that acts like a key to let blood sugar into the cells for use as energy. If you have prediabetes, the cells in your body don't respond normally to insulin. Your pancreas makes more insulin to try to get cells to respond. Eventually, your pancreas can't keep up and your blood sugar rises, setting the stage for prediabetes and type 2 diabetes down the road. Diagnosing prediabetes. You may not know if you have prediabetes because in most cases there are no symptoms. For this reason, it's important to be checked regularly for both prediabetes and diabetes, especially if you have any of the following risk factors: being overweight, having a body mass index higher than 25, and especially carrying much of your weight around your middle, not being physically active, family history, diabetes runs in families, race or ethnicity. The risk of diabetes is higher in African Americans, Asian Americans, Hispanic Americans, Native Americans, and Pacific Islanders. Age. Your risk goes up the older you get. Gestational diabetes. Having diabetes during pregnancy raises your risk. Other health issues, high blood pressure, high triglycerides, a type of blood fat, and low HDL or good cholesterol are all associated with an increased risk. So how might you know if you have prediabetes or even type 2 diabetes? Ask your doctor for a blood test. Hopefully he or she is already checking, but if not, speak up. Your doctor can check for prediabetes by running one of several tests. A fasting blood glucose test. You can't eat anything for at least 8 hours leading up to the test. A blood glucose reading between 100 milligrams per deciliter and 125 milligrams per deciliter indicates prediabetes. An oral glucose tolerance test. Again, you can't eat anything for at least 8 hours before. Your blood glucose will be checked and then you drink a sugary drink. 2 hours later, your blood glucose is checked again. If that reading is between 140 milligrams per deciliter and 199 milligrams per deciliter, you likely have prediabetes. Any of these tests may be repeated to confirm a diagnosis. You have prediabetes. Now what? Finding out that you have prediabetes can be frightening, and you may feel helpless or hopeless, but it can be useful to view a prediabetes diagnosis as an opportunity. Studies show that prediabetes can be stopped from turning into type 2 diabetes. In fact, lifestyle interventions such as losing some weight, eating healthfully, and staying active can lower your risk of getting diabetes by almost 60%. That's pretty amazing, if you think about it. But how do you do all of this? Get moving. Activity is a key factor in diabetes prevention. You don't need to start running marathons or join a gym. What you should strive for, though, is getting 3 hours of moderate physical activity every week. It sounds like a lot, but you can break it down into, say, 30 minutes of activity 6 days a week, and you don't have to do it all at once. Start with a little weight loss. Here's where people get discouraged because they're thinking, I have 50 pounds to lose and I'll never do it. The reality, though, is that losing between 5% and 10% of your body weight can help do the trick. If you weigh 200 pounds, losing 5 to 10% of your weight would mean losing 10 to 20 pounds. Losing weight isn't easy, but aiming to lose a small amount can seem more doable. Better eating habits. You don't need to starve yourself or follow an unrealistic diet. Instead, cutting back on portions, using a smaller plate, eating more vegetables, and drinking more water can get you going. Working with a dietitian can be helpful so you can craft an eating plan that works for you. Start tracking. Start tracking your food intake, your physical activity, and your weight. Slashing your diabetes risk by 60% includes staying on top of everything, and the best way to do this is to keep a record of what you're doing. You can use good old-fashioned pen and paper to track. You might also create a spreadsheet or use a smartphone app. What's most important is that you make tracking a part of your prevention routine. 4-step plan to reverse diabetes. Certain foods negatively affect your blood sugar levels, cause inflammation, and trigger immune responses. To reverse diabetes naturally, the first step is to remove these foods from your diet. Refined sugar. Refined sugar rapidly spikes blood glucose, and soda, fruit juice, and other sugary beverages are the worst culprits. These forms of sugar enter the bloodstream rapidly and can cause extreme elevations in blood glucose. Grains. Grains, especially gluten-containing grains like wheat, contain large amounts of carbohydrates that are broken down into sugar within only a few minutes of consumption. Gluten can cause intestinal inflammation, which affects hormones like cortisol and leptin and can lead to spikes in blood sugar. Conventional cow's milk. Conventional cow's milk and dairy products should be eliminated, especially for people with type 1 diabetes. Dairy can be a fantastic food for balancing blood sugar if it comes from goats, sheep, or A2 cows. But stay away from all other forms of dairy because the A1 casein produced by conventional cows will harm the body and trigger an immune response similar to gluten. Alcohol. Alcohol can dangerously increase blood sugar and lead to liver toxicity. Research found that there was a 43% increased incidence of diabetes associated with heavy consumption of alcohol, which is defined as 3 or more drinks per day. GMO foods. GMO corn, soy, and canola have been linked to kidney and liver disease and may promote diabetes. We suggest removing all GMO foods and all packaged foods from your diet. To reverse or prevent type 2 diabetes, add the following foods into your diet. Foods high in fiber. Research shows that 90% of the US population doesn't consume enough fiber on a daily basis. High fiber foods help slow down glucose absorption, regulate your blood sugar levels, and support detoxification. Aim to eat at least 30 grams of fiber per day, which can come from vegetables like Brussels sprouts, peas, and artichokes, avocados, berries, nuts, and seeds, especially chia seeds and flax seeds. Foods high in chromium. Chromium is a nutrient that's involved in normal carbohydrate and lipid metabolism. Foods high in chromium can improve the glucose tolerance factor in your body and naturally balance out blood glucose levels. It plays a role in insulin pathways, helping to bring glucose into our cells so it can be used for bodily energy. Broccoli has the highest amounts of chromium. Magnesium-rich foods. Magnesium can help regulate blood sugar levels because it plays a role in glucose metabolism. Research shows that diabetes is frequently associated with magnesium deficiency. Eating magnesium-rich foods like spinach, chard, pumpkin seeds, almonds, yogurt, and black beans can improve type 2 diabetes symptoms. Healthy fats. Medium-chain fatty acids found in coconut and red palm oil can help balance blood sugar levels, and they serve as the preferred fuel source for your body rather than sugar. Using coconut milk, ghee, and grass-fed butter can also help balance out your blood sugar levels, so include these foods in your meals and smoothies. Clean protein. Eating protein foods has a minimal effect on your blood glucose levels, and it can slow down the absorption of sugar. Some of the best sources of clean protein include wild-caught fish, which contains omega-3 fats and reduces inflammation, grass-fed beef, organic chicken, lentils, eggs, and bone broth. One benefit of these foods is that they generally promote weight loss, which is a major factor in reversing diabetes. A study following 312 diabetic individuals found that losing weight under a structured program, with the supervision of a primary care physician, resulted in almost half of the participants going into total diabetes remission. This means they were able to stay off their medications permanently. You can start today to make an impact against diabetes. To learn more how you can take your first steps toward reversing diabetes, see the link in our description for more details.